everybody, Tekking101 here. So a couple days ago on my vlog channel, I did a video entitled The Ultimate One Piece Quiz. As the title implied, it was me taking on an 80-question quiz about the One Piece universe. And, as expected, I got a C-. It was actually a really freaking tough quiz. But in the video, I asked you guys to see if you could send me a Bleach quiz that was on the level of this, because it wasn't a quiz that really handled, like there's so much stuff in the One Piece universe. Like, One Piece universe is so much more expansive than Bleach is, and there's way more information available. Now, some of you might be thinking, like, well, Tekking, Bleach is at chapter, like, 611, One Piece is at chapter, like, 780 something, like, that's not really that big of a gap there, about 100 chapters. Is there really that much more information? There is, because every chapter is not weighted equally. Like, if you read, anybody that's out there that's just read one One Piece chapter and one Bleach chapter can tell, in One Piece, there's much more dialogue, there's usually much more, bang for your buck, so to speak. There's much more stuff crammed in one chapter than in Bleach. Hell, there's some chapters of Bleach, like, most notably, chapter 577 with Grammy and the Meteor, where half or, like, a third of the fucking chapter really contains no dialogue whatsoever, and it's just people reacting to stuff. Now, that's not a slam against Kubo. That's just, he views the way to be more impactful by, like, having everyone just, like, strong color schemes, and, instead of just having everyone running around screaming, he's, like, looking up at the meteor like, oh my god. This is compared to, like, Fujitora in One Piece, who can also summon meteors. Whenever he does something, maybe Oda will just throw, like, one big, cover page where everyone's, like, looking up, staring at the meteor. Like, that's just different, artistic direction, what they do. But, yeah, so I asked you guys, to send me a Bleach quiz that had, like, the same level of stuff crammed into, like, the One Piece one. And the problem is that some people did send me some quizzes, but the problem was they weren't really that in-depth. Most of them involved questions that could easily be answered by even, like, a casual fan of the series, like, really, really simple information. Like, they would show, like, one of them I remember seeing, like, they would show a picture of Yachiru, like, who is this character? And then they would give, like, multiple choice answers. I'm like, okay, anybody that's a fan of Bleach knows who Yachiru is, okay? Like, they just do, okay? If you were to ask, what's the name of her Zanpakuto, that would be something, okay, that's a question maybe not everyone would know the answer to. That's another thing, too, is, like, they were really dated. Some of them were dated pretty far back there. Like, the one that I did on One Piece was on the Wikia, so it was constantly being updated as the story progresses. But the one that I saw on, all the Bleach ones, those were really dated. I don't think I saw one of them that stretched beyond the fake Karakura Town arc, if that. There was another one I saw, like that had, what was the name of Byakuya Kuchiki Zanpakuto? Well, gee, what was that? Oh, man, was that Suzume Bachi? No. No, it was Zangetsu. No, damn it. Damn, this quiz is hard, Everybody that's a fan of Bleach knows what the name of probably the most popular captain of the Gotei 13's fucking Zanpakuto is, okay? If you were to ask, what was the technique that Byakuya used to defeat Espada number 7, Zomori-Riru? Which was Gokei. Like, that's a question that was only, I think Gokei was only mentioned twice when, he used it on Zomori. I think later on Tsukishima mentioned it. But that was like the only two times. Okay, so that's something that I can understand. That's like the caliber level. So I decided, because there wasn't one out there, and you know me, I decided to start my own One Piece quiz. I wrote up a 60-question quiz. I also included bonus questions and shit in there as well. And it includes questions that I felt were, if you have to read the whole series to understand these questions, up to the point right now where we're at with the final year Blood War arc. But I thought it was pretty fair. I didn't do so much of the extra... I did do information that can only be found in, like, data books, but the One Piece quiz delved into stuff that was, like, in filler arcs and, random SBS questions that Oda answered. I didn't do any filler arcs in mine. Well, no, okay, there's an exception with one question, but that's not like the bounce or anything. That's just, like, like something that Kubo was going to put in the manga, but he just didn't have time, so he couldn't. But stuff like that. I referenced the data books a couple times, stuff that we only found out through there. I referenced stuff that maybe Oda talked about in interviews a couple of times, but for the most of it, the majority of the thing is stuff about the series that we already know. Stuff that was revealed in the series, just something that's not been mentioned for a while, or something that you might not remember, or something that maybe seems a little bit insignificant at the time. So that's it. The link to that is below. It's on my Google Drive. Now, what I would like to issue a challenge to all the people out there that consider themselves diehard Bleach fans, which Honestly, I don't consider myself a die-hard Bleach fan. I've said multiple times, Bleach is not my favorite series. The thing is, though, I've reviewed over almost 150 chapters of the things for nearly 4 years now, and I've had to do other videos where I go back and reference other parts of the series, so even though it's not my favorite series, I have had massive amounts of... I've wasted so much of my time researching this series. I know stuff that happens way back in the friggin' Substitute arc, just because it's out of necessity that I have to for this. So, and I have a really good memory when it comes to really useless information. Like, if you want to talk about, like, back from, like, algebra, like, hey, Matt, how do you solve complex fractions or geometry? It's like, what's the formula for discovering the circumference of a sphere? I don't, that stuff just went in my skull and it's gone. I couldn't tell you. If someone pointed a gun to my head, like, how do you find the circumference of a sphere? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Boom. Now someone's going to give me the formula for having the circumference of a sphere. Yeah, so, that kind of stuff, the stuff that might actually come in handy later on in my life, depending on what my career may be, that stuff, absolutely no knowledgeable recall for. But, hey, Tekking, can you remember the entire full Keto incantation for Hado number 91? Okay, alright. That's the best cane I have, I'm sorry. Beyond the limit of 1,000 hands, the hand of darkness that's out of reach, the archer in heaven that goes unseen, the road that lights the way, the winds that ignite the embers, converge where I point. Bolts of light, bodies of 8, rays of 9, ants of heaven, treasures of time, wheels of immensity, and cannons of gray. The bow is drawn and then fades in light. Hado 91! Senju Koten Taiho! And then you're dead. Oh, and just for good measure, okay. The oozing crest of corruption, the arrogant vessel of madness. Deny the seething urge to let things stun and flicker. Disrupt the sleep, the crawling princess of iron, the eternally self-destructing doll of mud. Unite, repulse, and know your own powerlessness. Hado number 90! Toro Hitsuji! And then I fuck with gravity and then kill you. So yeah, that stuff... That's just a peek into my subconscious, my memory, how my memory works. Stuff like that, I'll remember until I'm like 82. But yeah, so challenge to everyone if you think you're up to it. I have the link to my Google Drive where all the questions are posted below. Now, there's also an answer page I had to post, obviously. That's also on my Google Drive. There's separate docs. So if anyone wants to, like, I don't know, make a video where they take the challenge and they try to go through, like, the same thing I did with the Ultimate One Piece quiz, basically, and just go through all the questions and see. The only problem is with the One Piece one, that was like in a Wikia format where you could just like read the question and then like unlock the next question. So, like you like what is Luffy's age? And then you'd say the answer, then you click and like, oh, there's the answer. The problem with this though, there's separate pages. So if you keep going back and forth between the pages, each question, you're going to see the answer to the next question. So maybe if you want to have someone next to you to read the questions and see if you got them right. But yeah, other than that though, if you think you're up for the challenge, if you think you can do this, I'm looking forward to your videos, ladies and gentlemen. And if you get it right, this will be like a long-standing thing on your channel. If you get like a decent score, like there's 60 questions, so if you get like an A on this test, if you get like anything, I guess that would be like a 50 or higher, you'll get like a mention in my videos and like okay, here's who defeated the Ultimate Bleach Quiz this week. I think it's a pretty cool thing, and also I think it's pretty cool that there's a quiz out there that can really mentally challenge the Bleach fandom. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing your entries. Tekking101 signing out. Oh, by the way, how you send in the entries? You just, whatever you title the video, just include Tekking101 Ultimate Bleach Quiz, because then I can just do a search and I can find it pretty easily. Or you can message me on my fan page, like, here, I did your question thing. So yeah, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's cool, it's up to you. There's no prize or anything out of it, just a shout out if you find that valuable. But anyway, thanks for watching. Tekking101 signing out.